It is with great sadness today I'm here to advise that 2 children have died as a result of the injuries sustained in this morning's knife attack. 9 other children have been injured and 6 of them are in a critical condition. All those injured have suffered stab wounds sustained during the attack, and 2 adults are also in a critical condition after being injured during the incident. A 17-year-old male from Banks in Lancashire, who is originally from Cardiff, has been arrested on suspicion of murder and attempted murder, and is being taken to a police station where he will be interviewed by detectives. My officers were called to reports of a stabbing at 11:47 this morning and at an address in Southport. When they arrived, they were shocked to find that multiple people, many of whom were children, had been subjected to a ferocious attack and had suffered serious injuries. It is understood that the children were attending a Taylor Swift event at a dance school when the offender, armed with a knife, walked into the premises and started to attack inside the children. We believe that the adults who were injured were bravely trying to protect the children who were being attacked. As a mum and a nana, I can't begin to imagine the pain and suffering that the families of the victims are going through at this moment in time.
I called the police, but there's many people on the phone at that point because it was like a bomb had gone off. Girls' bodies all over the place. One of my colleagues that works with me, James, he brought one of the girls out of the building, and she didn't look good at all. Poor kid. Just mayhem. They're just us street members looking after the girls while they were bleeding to death, basically. There was a few parents around. I've heard wailing and screaming pretty much all afternoon of parents coming later to pick kids up and only really finding out what's going on.
I got a call from a very, very good friend of mine, was in work, completely oblivious to it, and as soon as she told me, I literally ran out of work. I don't know how I managed to drive that, to be fair. My priority was just my girls. I knew my eldest daughter was taking her to a friend's house, and I'm just so thankful to God that they're safe. I just can't, nobody can believe it, but all the local mums have checked in with one another. I'm sure we're all going to know somebody from that poor group, but the parents, I checked in on my girls and I just ran to the crowd because I just thought, you put your NHS head on, don't you? And the mother that I was just consoling, just the look on her face because she knew something had happened to a child. It's like, oh my gosh, how do you even comprehend? There's nothing you can do. She said she heard quite a sinister scream, and literally she got back from being with a friend, taking my daughter. We don't know roughly what time it was, but it was similar timing, and then all the commotion had gone on. So looking back at the time scales, that potentially could have been, but she said it was a very untoward, unusual scream, so we don't know.
Well, this is a family road. Most of these houses are either families or the grandparents of kids who were brought up on this road. So virtually every house is family orientated. So it will be very shocking to them. I mean, I don't have children, so in a way it doesn't have quite the same effect. But it is heavily, I would think 90% of the houses have children or grandchildren. I'm not going to be made to feel unsafe by one idiot. This is happening all over the country. We can't all go into hiding and feel unsafe with it. But it is terrible that it's children, young children. You know,
Primary
I hope
school age?
Oh yes, age 2 to 6. It was a Taylor Swift themed yoga class for 2 to 6-year-olds, and one of the local residents should have had a granddaughter at it, and they were too late to get in.
The events today are just truly awful, and I know the whole country is deeply shocked at what they've seen and what they've heard. And I know I speak for everybody in the whole country in saying our thoughts and condolences with the victims, their families, their friends and the wider community. And it's almost impossible to imagine the grief that they're going through and the trauma that they're going through. My message is really to convey what they would want me to convey, which is their thoughts and condolences to the families in particular. It is impossible to imagine what they are going through right now. The wider community, the friends, and of course the victims who've got terrible injuries. So I think everybody would want to send those thoughts and condolences. But I do also think about the emergency responders, because they have responded to an awful incident today, and I want to thank them for the professionalism that they have shown in doing so.
One thing, and have you got an ambulance?
Sam, when you're doing that after